Good morning, folks. John Havlicek here with another edition of Common Grounds. The first thing I want to do is I want to give a quick shout out to Judge Lisa Neubauer. She is a judge on the 2nd District Court of Appeals here in Wisconsin, and she's retiring at the end of her term, which is in July of 2026. Thank you for your service, ma'am. That's a big deal for folks over by Racine and Sheboygan because that means you're going to have an election to replace her in April. And that's a big deal because that is one level below the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And a lot of justices on the Supreme Court have worked their way up through these other stages. And so we need to make sure that we have high quality individuals like Judge Neubauer on the bench, so to speak, in more ways than one, right below the Supreme Court, so that they are, we've got our best minds deciding these cases and ready to step up to the next level if they have the desire and that situation arises. All right. So again, thank you, Judge Neubauer, for your service. All right. Common ground today. I think we have common ground, whether you would vote the same way I would vote or not, in having broad participation in fair elections. Okay. I think the more people that can vote and do vote, the better off we are. Because the reverse of that, not having people vote, leads to a lot of problems. Number one, that lets the politicians really ignore us, right? That lets the politicians, they say that politicians pick their voters instead of the other way around. Okay. The more people that vote, the more likely it is that they have to listen to us. The more likely it is that we will actually get things done that benefit us. Okay. And I'm not really talking about that local politician that you see at the grocery store that you chit chat with. I'm talking about the power brokers. Okay. Because you and I, whether or not we agree on most things or not, I think we do agree on, I want, a roof over my head. I want clothes on my back. I want access to health care. I want groceries. I want a job. These are all the things that I want, not just for me, but I want them for you. I want them for the guy down the street and the person across the state and the person on the other side of the country. Whether or not we agree politically or not, I still want all of us to have those things. And if the politicians don't have to listen to us, we won't. And you and I have so much more common ground than either of us has with that ruling class elite power broker. They have common ground with each other, not with us. Okay. Why am I bringing that up? Well, great article in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and I will try to, kind of plug these different places where I read the news, right? The Waukesha Circuit Court Judge Maxwell, had a case come before him, and he just ruled that the Wisconsin Elections Commission, the WEC, has to verify the citizenship of everyone registered to vote in Wisconsin. You might go, well, yeah, that's kind of common sense. It is, but the devil's in the details. Number one, we're talking 3+ million registered voters who've already had to show ID and whatever, right? And he said that they could use Department of Transportation files or other state records. Okay. But then he said it has to be done in time for the February primary. And the WEC, the commission folks, have said, I don't know if we have enough time for that. Even small changes take that long or longer. Not, millions upon millions of data points that have to be verified, have to be registered, checked and cross-checked and all that. So I'm a little concerned here because this is something that could then decrease voter turnout. Probably not for me, but for folks. And based on what I was just talking about, anybody who is restricting the vote who is casting doubt on the fairness of the election, that hurts all of us. Whether or not I'm on the winning side or not, it still hurts me. Because back to, that 80% blue or 80% red district, the person who gets elected there probably isn't even going to listen to their own voters because they don't have to. So we are better off with broad participation in fair elections. All right. And I think that is the common ground that you and I have. All right. So anyway, I hope you enjoy some common grounds today, and I hope you have a good day at work. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.